Overwhelming majority. The report starts by stating that these harassments have spread globally, like a pandemic. Furthermore, a report prepared by several authorities in France, including the State Secretary for Women's Rights, states that 100% of women who use public transportation in France have experienced sexual harassment or assault. The French news agency disputes this percentage as exaggerated. Just imagine, the dispute is about the percentage. Is it 100%? Or less? What about the college girl? I remember when I attended the University of Houston to complete my PhD degree. A booklet was distributed to students with statistics showing that 1 out of 3 female students were subjected to harassment. It included tips on how to avoid it and, if harassed, what number to call and so on. The situation is getting worse and numbers are multiplying globally, even in scientific circles that are supposed to be socially superior. According to a study published last year, almost half of U.S. female medical students experienced some form of sexual harassment. In 2019, more than half of UK female students faced unwanted sexual behavior, according to a study published by The Guardian, and cited as the largest study in this field for male and female students. This harassment respects neither academic rank nor teachers' authority. There are cases of harassment by students of their female professors who educate them, as well as harassment of female students by male professors. Imagine. The female student approaches the teacher to learn and he harasses her. Free girls graduate from such college environments after experiencing harassment. At least half of them, and now they must search for work. Because a woman's job is her only source of security, no one else is responsible for her. Just as the father, brother or husband can't intervene in her life, they also bear no responsibility toward her. We often forget this fact when talking about the Western woman. We speak about her freedom, but we forget that this freedom is also associated with the abdication of any duty towards her, addressing her needs, caring and providing for her. Therefore, the free woman must prove herself at work so she doesn't get fired and lose her only source of security. Well, what if she is asked to perform tasks that are unsuitable to her nature as a female? She cannot object because she conceded to the concept of absolute equality with men in everything. And she has to do whatever brings income, even if she has to use her body to keep her job, her only source of security. This is an article published by the BBC in 2002 titled, "1 in 4 women in Britain has office sex." This was in 2002 and it is only getting worse. In the latest statistics on Safiline, a British website which offers help to women who are subjected to harassment, over 50% of working women in the UK have experienced sexual harassment in the workplace. Some reported that the person harassing them was their manager or someone in a position of authority. Another major study in the US shows harassment levels in the workplace of 58%. With a high percentage of male doctors harassing female doctors. Likewise in the nursing profession, a humanitarian profession. As in this American study, which states that more than 70% of nurses were subjected to harassment from patients and coworkers. It has gotten to the point where the male employer openly asks the female employee to dress indecently in order to market his products. Until a group of waitresses demonstrated and demanded the intervention of the U.S. authorities to free them from the grip of restaurant owners who were asking them to dress indecently. The central slogan of their demonstration was, "I am not on the menu," i.e., the customer is supposedly in the restaurant to buy food, not to buy me. We have yet to talk about the women whose job is in prostitution. According to The Economist, it is estimated that, in Germany, there are 400,000 prostitutes, serving 1 million men daily. Well, the working woman who was fired for one reason or another or ran away from a sexually charged work environment. No problem. Her husband, brother, father or any male relative in her family will support her. It's their duty. Whose duty? Did you forget that she now relies only on herself? She has proven her competitiveness, independence and her refusal of any intervention from them. They have actually abandoned her. Okay, what is the solution then? There is social welfare. What if social welfare is not enough? Or its payment was delayed? The answer comes from an article published by the BBC in 2018, titled, "I was forced into prostitution by Universal Credit." The article starts with, "The Universal Credit benefit system is forcing some women to turn to sex work. Charities say this is due to the inefficiency of the social welfare system." The BBC has spoken to 5 charities and organizations in England who say there are increasing numbers of women on the credit, you see, in this position. When a woman works in this field of dishonor, she revives another sector owned primarily by the whales of capitalism, the casinos and nightclubs sector. Remarkably, the majority of women who are subjected to harassment and rape in transportation, at universities, or in the work environment, do not report it to authorities. You might think she doesn't report it because she enjoys it. It is okay for her to be harassed or raped, it is a compliment to her femininity. Not true. The vast majority of raped or harassed women suffer humiliation, panic attacks, depression, shame, self-loathing, desire for revenge and even acute physical symptoms. She may quit her school or work as a result, according to the U.S. Office for Victims of Crime. So why don't they report it? For many reasons: fear of the negative impact the complaint might have on her career, feelings of shame and embarrassment, or lack of sufficient evidence, etc. She's attacked in a dark corner or out of sight. There is no evidence, so he escapes punishment. Some women submit to the aggressor because they fear the matter could escalate from harassment to violence and physical abuse if they refuse to submit to his sexual frenzy. The woman continues to bear this devastating toll on herself. Devastating toll is the term used by the U.S. Office for Victims of Crime. You might say, she is to blame. She dresses and acts seductively to tempt men. This is what the Office for Victims of Crime considers as a myth which surrounds the rape of women. All women are susceptible. Some women contribute to create a state of sexual frenzy and other women pay the price. This devastated woman, who needs psychological care, seeks therapy and gets harassed by the therapist. As revealed by women in the Me Too movement, the slogan launched by women to encourage each other to speak out and reveal the sexual assaults they faced. A growing trend is that of sexual harassment and exploitation of female patients by their psychotherapist or psychologist, who are supposed to save the woman from her distress. So why don't women complain to the members of parliament and legislators who craft legislations and issue penalties? Parliaments. According to a study published by CNN in 2018, sexual abuse is widespread even in European parliaments. Where can a woman go after all this? Where can she seek refuge? With whom can she find protection? One study found that the vast majority of women in America feel pressured to remain physically attractive in order to be valued. Her value is determined by her physical attractiveness, as the study states. It is indeed a difficult equation. You must be attractive to feel valued and be treated well. Yet, when you and other women become physically attractive, society becomes afflicted with sexual misconduct and someone Assaults you, stripping you of self-worth and self-respect. It is very important to understand that this behavior towards a woman when she goes to school, work or for treatment. When a man extends his hand to toy with her, insult her and use her as an object for his uncontrolled sexual desire. This is not purely the result of a transient sexual desire. It is rather a result of the man's distorted, disdainful view of women since childhood. Forget the claims of equality, mutual respect and the propaganda which has no basis in reality. In a survey published by the U.S. Office of Victims of Crime, teens were asked whether forcing sex on a girl was justified. 36% of them answered, yes if he is so aroused that he can't stop himself. While 39% answered, yes if he has spent a lot of money on her. That is, if he spent money on buying her gifts or food. Then he is entitled to play sexually with her and force her to have sex. In their words, forced sex was acceptable. Hold on. You are only showcasing sexual assault on women. On the other hand, there are women who are satisfied with romantic relationships. It is true that they are illicit, but they are happy with such a relationship because it is consensual. Aha! Happy. This is what they show you in the movies, which are all fantasies like space alien fantasies. Let's step a bit away from Hollywood and delve into the official websites of US and European governments to explore, aside from harassment and rape, how a woman is treated by her so-called intimate partner, whether husband or a lover. Go to the website of the U.S. Department of Justice. Browse the statistics of violence against women and read about battered woman syndrome. What does this term mean? Battered means injured by repeated strong blows. So, battered woman syndrome describes the condition of a woman beaten like this. This woman who justified the murder of her boyfriend because she suffered from battered woman syndrome. Such is the case for a large number of women, some of whom published their photos. Once again, are these cases of heinous violence just anomalies? According to official U.S. websites such as the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, 1 in 4 women is subjected to severe physical violence by an intimate partner. These numbers exclude the physical violence inflicted by strangers. It also excludes mild beating and violence. It has gotten to the point where 1/4 to 1/3 of women who visit the ER in the U.S. are victims of domestic violence, according to the Office for Victims of Crime. When muscles rule, there is no doubt that men will have the upper hand. A study in the U.S. on violence between partners, spouses or lovers, which led to emergency room admission, found that 93% of the patients were women and 7% were men. This violence often escalates to murder. Just a few days ago, rallies took place in France to condemn domestic violence. After 116 women, at least, were killed in 2019. France 24 reported that a French woman is killed every 3 days by a husband, boyfriend or life partner. Also, a few days ago, France 24 covered protests against the humiliation of women. The protest signs read, "Violence against women, a woman is raped every 7 minutes in France." You might be surprised to know that more than 1/2 of domestic violence victims require repetitive medical attention. More than 6 times according to government websites. In other words, she is repeatedly beaten and humiliated by her husband or partner. Well, why doesn't this woman escape? Where would she escape to? To her father or her brother? Oh! Have you forgotten? She might not even know who her father is. Or she knows but he does not have any responsibility towards her. As she is a free and independent adult, equal to a man, needing no one. She has proven herself. Among what Western countries extend to such women is something called battered women's shelter. A place of temporary protection while she recovers from beatings and fines. A way to make a living. Now, this woman, who has been severely abused by her partner, wants to get rid of anything which reminds her of him. What might remind her of him is the embryo he illicitly put in her womb. Enter the technologies which facilitate abortion, the media which embellishes it, and the legislation which allows it. In America alone, there are about 1 million abortions annually. 2/3 of which are after the 6th week after ensoulment, which means the murder of a human being.